Hello everyone. Hope you're doing well today. Today I'm gonna make a stream think like an international master, and the stream about how to react when your opponent surprises you in the opening. I rescheduled for the Monday. So today I'm gonna play a couple of games with the explanation. Okay, so let's try to find the first opponent. Hello ZB, nice to see you. Okay, first opponent, let's try to find someone for 10 minutes. And maybe 5 plus 5. Oh, okay, I've got someone from US for 10 minutes. Okay, let's start with the d4. Okay, I play usually c4, e6. Okay, so I still don't know what opening is that gonna be. After d5, it's gonna be Queen's Gambit. After c5, Benoni. Okay, d5. So this is just a different moves order, but the opening is Queen's Gambit. Against the Queen's Gambit, I usually go g3 and I usually play the Catalan. But okay, today, let's play knight c3. Let's play the main line. Okay, and let's play bishop g5. Hello, Nicola. Okay, knight d7. Okay, I have to play e3. Okay, and now rook c1. I don't want to move my bishop because if my opponent decides to capture that pawn, I'm gonna lose a tempo. So this is the reason why I play rook c1. If black captures, my bishop directly takes at the c4. Hello, Van der Lust. Okay, b6. So as you can see, my opponent is going to play the Tartakower defense. It's with b6. I have got even a video about it on my YouTube if you are interested in the topic, how to play that opening with black. But usually when you want to play the Tartakower, you don't start with knight d7 and later b6, just like my opponent did. Usually you start with b6 and bishop b7. And let's try. Yeah, let's check what happens if I take it. Of course, opponent cannot capture with the knight because I will take it. Pawn takes, and my rook captures c7. So opponent is forced to take it with the pawn, and maybe then I can go something like knight b5, but then opponent goes c5. Yeah, so this is important question. Should I try to punish my opponent for doing that or not? Oh, you know what? Let's play. Let's play safe. Let's just develop. Hello, Krishna. Okay, I have to put my charger on. Okay, bishop a6. Okay, so as you can see, opponent is trying to attack that pawn. Okay, my first idea is to go queen a4. I think I'm gonna play this move. Attacking and protecting. Okay, bishop b7. Of course, I castle. I want to move my rook. I don't see any point in playing bishop a6. Opponent just lost one move. Okay, c5. Okay, usually when I see such a center, first idea is to take c takes d5. Only one capture at the d5. Okay, here. If I take the knight, opponent may try to take my bishop. Okay, let's take the bishop first. And now let's take the knight. Okay, how opponent is going to take it? If opponent takes it with the pawn, I'm gonna probably take at c5 and I will try to, yes. I'm gonna take at c5, and if opponent takes with the knight, there's gonna be a weakness at d5, an isolated pawn. So yeah, so most probably I'm gonna attack it, and if opponent takes it with the pawn, I will try to put some pressure over those two hanging pawns. Okay, so let's take it. Okay, so opponent has got hanging pawns. What you need to know about hanging pawns is that hanging pawns are the strongest when they are on the one rank. Here you can see those two pawns are very strong. I mean, they are quite strong. And if I can somehow force my opponent to move one of those pawns, let's imagine if I can force my opponent to push that pawn forward, there's gonna be a very weak pawn at d5. But of course I have to be careful because opponent will try to attack with those pawns. So the problem is that I think the d4 is a threat, because you can see that something like that is kind of my pawn at e3 is pinned. So my first idea was rook d1, but after d4, actually I really don't like my position. About bishop b5 move, yeah, bishop b5 is possible. My opponent most probably will go knight b6. I have to move my queen somewhere, maybe queen a5. Okay, but the longer I look at the position, the more I think that that would be nice to exchange the bishops, because then d5 pawn's gonna be weak. So okay, so let's play there. Hello, Extreme Dota. Okay, I expect, to be honest, knight b6. I'm gonna play queen a5, and later we are most probably going to exchange bishops. And later I wanna bring another rook to d1. So you can see that, I mean, I expect that it's gonna be extremely positional game. Yeah, should I take it or not? I can take it, rook takes, I play there, or I can start with b3. You know what, let's start with b3 maybe, because I want to stop that rook from attacking me, but also by playing b3, yeah, if opponent, I would prefer position of if opponent captures and I take back. Pawn at a7 is hanging. Okay, pretty weird move, to be honest, because, okay, maybe opponent wants to play bishop c6 and wants to avoid bishop exchanges, so I will take it and I will just bring my rook to c1, to d1. You can see I'm attacking those two pawns. Okay, I expect something like that, and I have to move my queen, I don't know, to a5 to put some pressure over that pawn, or I can move it like maybe here and go to f5 and put some pressure over that pawn. But actually, if it depends what opponent's going to do with the knight, because if knight is gonna protect this pawn, that makes more sense to attack d5 pawn. If opponent will move like this and protect d5, that makes more sense to attack at the c5. Hello, Prostitutius. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, good question. Okay, I have to say that that would be really nice if I can somehow involve my knight into the attack. Something like that looks pretty nice, I have to admit that. So you see, so opponent can keep the knight to protect it, but that would be nice to use my knight. So in the long term, most probably I have to move my queen somewhere. Okay, I can bring my knight here and here. Okay, now I have to move my queen. Yeah, now that pawn is not protected. So maybe here. Does it make sense? I'm also pinning that pawn. Okay, let's go. Now that maneuver looks really strong. Of course, maybe I will have to also double my rooks. I will try to, you know, attack that pawn with all of my cannons. Yeah, and you know what, maybe I will also play h3. h3, I know that that may look like, you know, I lose a tempo, but I think it's gonna be actually pretty useful, because I don't need to bother with any back rank checkmates. So yeah, something like that looks pretty nice. Yeah, so that looks like a plan. If my opponent decides to go c4, I think I'm gonna exchange queens, and most probably I'm gonna play b4. And later I'm gonna place my knight into, I'm gonna put my knight into that excellent place. Okay, c4. Okay, I have to exchange queens. Okay, and now if I capture, pawn captures. Okay, opponent has got pass pawn. This is also an isolated pawn, but this is also the pass pawn. So this is the reason why, okay, I have to decide whether capture or to play b4. If I play b4, I have got this beautiful square here. This is what I'm going to do most probably. b4. As I told you, hanging pawns are pretty weak if they are not at the one rank. So I will place my knight there. Yeah, I have to also take care of my pawns. So maybe I will play something like b5. My knight is gonna protect that pawn. And d5 pawn, now that pawn is, you know, it's backwards. Okay, c3. Very risky move in my opinion. Okay, I go there. Yes. I see what opponent's trying to do, but okay, I will just go here. Okay, I'm not afraid of this. I don't believe in that pawn. In my opinion, this is like that overextended pawn. I'm gonna double. Okay, I will just go g3. So f4 is no longer possible. Maybe I will play h4, you know, to stop any g5 ideas. Yeah, maybe I can bring my king. If I go there, knight a4. Okay, I have to be careful. Okay, what happens if I go knight b5? I tried to capture that pawn, and also opponent cannot play rook c7. a5. Okay, I did not expect this move. Okay, if I take it here, opponent, okay, he has to take it. I take, takes, rook takes, and I'm up a pawn. Okay, of course I'm not afraid of any move like rook c7 because I have got knight d5. So knight c3 looks nice, but what's wrong? What's wrong if I take this pawn? I really don't understand that a5 move. Okay, rook goes there, but now I can, okay, I can take this pawn or I can go here and I can make a fork. What is better? Servus kruczek. If I go there, rook goes here, takes, rook takes. Okay, that looks nice, but I really don't like that knight. Okay, but maybe I can move here and here. Yeah, that c3 pawn is pretty annoying, but if I decide to take it, takes, rook goes to b5. Yeah, to be honest, I want to play rook endgame. Yeah, because I'm very afraid of that pawn. Yeah, I know that fork looks usually really nice, but I have got an impression that it's gonna be easier for me to play that in the rook endgame. If I take it and rook c6. Also, I tried to go like here and here in some lines. Maybe even checkmate. If I go here, king e2, and then I threat f4. And there. And you need to know that I'm up 2 pawns at the moment. g5. f4, okay. I have got no idea what my opponent's doing here. What's the point? If I take, pawn takes. If I take there, pawn takes. Yeah, opponent maybe wants to make that position sharp. Yeah, okay, you know what? I will just play the first line that. Okay, check. King has to do something. I don't know. King f5. I go here. Here. I take. Okay. Maybe this is not as simple as I thought it's gonna be. Maybe just okay. I'll bring my king closer. If pawn takes, I'm not gonna take it back. I will just go rook h5. Rook h5. Yeah, this is what I wanted to do. After king g4, I check. King h4, I will take a g3, and I think opponent cannot stop the checkmate. After this move, of course, I check. And now I'm gonna take this pawn. And I'm gonna take another pawn. Yeah, if I can somehow manage to go into the rook endgame, that I have got those 2 pawns and my rook against the rook, this is easy win. Yeah, opponent has got a problem. Okay, I think I can even go there. King is also in trouble. Okay, d4, but now I have got even 3 pawns because I still keep this pawn. And now I will just move my king. Okay. Okay, and as you can see that I win. Okay, let's maybe take a look at this game. Let's analyze that game a little bit. Yeah, let's take a look at this game. Okay. let's maybe let's maybe pick a different format for this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here I paste the game, and let's now analyze this game, right? Because I just want to learn something from this game. Even if I somehow won this game, I just want to see did I play pretty well. Okay. Of course, beginning is pretty clear. Okay. I decide to go the main line. Okay. Knight d7. Yeah. Okay. Of course, knight d7 is just a standard move, but yeah, we are going to check this. Was that fork good? Was that fork better? Okay, e3 castling, rook goes to c1, and now opponent went b6. Okay, and okay, now I see, I'm just checking the theory because I decided to play it in a standard way, but now I see that the most popular move is c takes d5. Of course, as I said, this is not a good move because I can capture, and now my rook is winning a pawn. So of course this is very good for white. So okay, but what happens if opponent takes with the pawn? Okay, honestly, I was thinking that there might be something very good. Okay, but I see that there is there are two good moves at the moment. There is knight e5. Probably that move threats to move to knight to c6. Okay, bishop has to go to b7 and then f4. Okay, you know that thing called Pillsbury's ring. Okay, I'm not a big fan of playing this kind of position, so okay. So actually, I'm glad I did not play this, but I see that there is also another interesting move, queen a4. And after bishop b7, there is bishop a6. Okay, so something similar to that what happened during the game, I have to say. Okay, probably takes. Okay, black goes c5, castling. Yeah, so I have to say that it was something pretty similar. Okay. Let's go back. So, okay, so honestly, I couldn't punish my opponent for playing b6 into this move order. Okay, I played there bishop a6. Bishop a6 for sure is not a good move, and I played queen a4. Okay, that was fine. Bishop b7. Opponent just lost a tempo. Okay. Casting at the moment. Okay, everything is so far fine. Opponent plays c5, and now c takes d5 is good. Okay, maybe an alternative for this move was rook to d1, because I move my rook into the center. I also make an x-ray, so my rook is attacking opponent's queen. Yeah, that also looks kind of yeah, like an interesting move. But when I see such a dynamic, we call it dynamic center, when I see something like this in the queen's gambit, I usually take c takes d5. Okay, opponent captures with the knight. Okay, I take at e7, queen takes, knight takes d5. Okay, and now I have to say that opponent surprises me a little bit because he captured with the pawn, and now black will have got weak pawns in the center. Much better idea for black was to capture bishop here, and now you can see that even if somehow I take it here, knight takes, and yeah, there is no weakness in the black's position. This is what black's supposed to do at the moment. Bishop takes d5. E takes d5 was, of course, it wasn't like a losing mistake, but that was inaccuracy because I had got a pretty clear plan. After bishop takes d5, what can I play? Yeah, I cannot move that bishop because that bishop is pointing there. I wanted somehow to play e4, but e4 right now probably doesn't work. Yeah, okay, that would be much better. Anyway, e takes d5. I captured there. Okay, b takes c5. If opponent takes with the knight, there is an isolated pawn. So it's isolated pawn is even weaker than hanging pawns. So yeah. Okay, pawn takes. I played bishop a6. Okay, and I have to say, because I'm just also checking that with the engine, that engine really doesn't like my bishop a6 move. Okay, and there is an interesting idea I even did not consider. But engine wants to attack those pawns immediately by playing b4, and in its opinion, b4 is a very strong move. Okay, and I have to agree that b4, because is immediately destroying such a hanging pawns. Because take a look, of course, if opponent cannot capture because there is rook here, and you can see that black has got a serious problem. Serious problem with the yeah, there is a fork. So of course something like that doesn't work. Okay, what else black can do? If black plays what? Rook here. Yeah, but it's nothing good. I will just take it, and there is an isolated pawn. Okay, black can also push that pawn forward c4, but actually this is something that I wanted to achieve. I can place my knight at the d4, and you know, that knight is beautiful. Later I go there. That pawn is very weak. So yeah, I have to admit that b4 even it didn't cross my mind, but that was a very, very strong move. It reminds me a little bit, if you remember game number 5 or 6, I think it was game number 5, from the Fischer-Spassky match from Reykjavik from 1972. There was also pretty something similar. Just it was the same line, by the way, and Fischer just destroyed Spassky's hanging pawns by playing e4, and also Fischer forced him to play d4, and later he played bishop c4. It was something like this. So b4, it's like a similar idea. I'm not saying that it's the same, but this is something similar. Okay, so that was game number 6. Okay, bishop a6. Yeah, that b4, I have to say that I really like that idea. Okay, rook b8. Okay, b3 makes sense. Rook c8. Okay, bishop takes, rook takes, and now I decided to go rook d1. Okay, knight goes to b6. Okay, I played queen a3, and now I have to say that I don't like my opponent's move, because opponent played c4, and Engine also is thinking that this is inaccuracy, because this is not very accurate move, makes those pawns weak. Yeah, that would be more challenging if opponent goes something like that. Most probably I'm gonna play something like h3. Okay, let's say h6. I don't know. I will play here with the idea to go there. Yeah, but now c4 is actually stronger, because I cannot move my knight to d4. So I have to be also careful of playing this way. But it's gonna be more challenging. It's gonna be definitely more difficult for me to attack that pawn at the c5. Yeah, this is the reason why I have to say that c4, even if on the board maybe it wasn't such a bad move, definitely it was that move makes my game very easy. I capture, takes, I play b4. Okay, c3, and this is definitely a mistake, because that such a pawn, we call it overextended pawn, that is a little bit too far from the opponent's position. So this is like an easy target for me to attack. Definitely better was to go something like here. Yeah, later here and here. Yeah, similar story. It's not gonna be so easy for me to destroy those pawns. I mean, I would like to go there. I would like to move b5, maybe rook a1 here, something like that. But it's not gonna be so easy. That knight at b6 is protecting both pawns. Okay. Anyway, c3, knight d4. Okay, rook goes to c4, a3. Okay, g6, rook c2. Okay, f5, g3. So you can see prophylactic move. Okay, maybe maybe I should have attacked that pawn even earlier by playing there. And you know, if I go there, opponent cannot move the knight because d5 pawn's hanging. So after this move, rook d3, yeah, and I can win that pawn even faster. And that's true. That's true. Okay, I just wanted to play safe. Yeah, also that pawn from c3 is not going anywhere, so sooner or later it's gonna be mine. h6, okay, rook c1, knight a4, and now knight b5. Opponent cannot protect this pawn, a5. Yeah, a5 only helps me, I think, at the moment. Anyway, I captured, rook b7. Okay, and now let's analyze. Let's analyze. Knight, I analyzed. I considered two moves at the moment to capture knight c3 or knight d6. And engine says that after knight takes c3, my advantage is like +3. After knight d6, it's like +3.5. So okay, so maybe that fork was stronger. But why I did not play this move? Because I was afraid that opponent will go like here and takes, rook takes. Okay, and I was afraid that that pawn is pretty strong. Yeah, but maybe, okay, I can just play here. Rook c5, and then what? I can bring my king closer, rook takes a5. Okay, I can just bring my king closer, yeah, maybe, and I'm up an exchange. Okay, so king e5, probably rook b6, or if I'm not wrong, or something, or rook b8 even. Yeah, okay, this is also true that that knight cannot move because it has to protect this pawn, and I'm up an exchange. Yeah, so maybe I wanted to be too accurate, right? So this is the reason why I decided to take at c3, because but of course +3 is also like a decent advantage. King goes to e5, knight takes a4, okay, takes, and now rook c6. Okay, this is of course good because I have to, in the positions with 4 rooks, the most important thing is rook's activity. I didn't want to put my rooks into defensive positions because opponent will get an initiative. So this is the reason why I wanted to play active way. Here f4, okay, and now actually, okay, e takes f4, it's good. G takes rook e1 is also fine. Okay, I have to say, okay, engine even agrees with me that I played pretty accurate here. And now king g2 is fine. Takes rook h5, okay, and my idea was that if opponent decides to go there, this is not a good move because I go here, I go there, and I think it's very hard to stop this move. That was that. Or even, okay, even not this move, because after this move there is rook g4 and king escapes. But I think that instead of taking at g3, I could move my rook to g8, and now it's not possible to stop checkmate, I think. Of course that move doesn't help because here I can even go rook h8 and I win at least a rook. Okay, so that was my idea, but opponent didn't fall into the trap. Okay, rook g5 here. Yeah, okay, f takes g3, simple solution. Okay, and that was of course easy win for me. Okay, engine actually says that it's only like +2 and 2.7, which is, I don't absolutely agree with this, because after this move takes, you know, that rook endgame, rook and 2 pawns against the rook is easy win, right? I mean, easy. You have to be careful. Hello DJ Maddog. You have to still be careful, but it's quite easy to win if you just don't make a mistake and don't, you know, blunder any stalemate. This is easy win. But okay, rook b5 here, rook e6. Okay, I just move my rook behind. d4 takes here, and yeah, and this is of course very easy win. Yeah, I just brought my king. You know, the only idea. Okay, you probably know that kind of thing. Opponent resigned at the moment. You probably know that kind of thing, but I'm gonna show you just one thing about this kind of endgame. That the only idea, okay, let's say rook a5 here. Okay, let's say something like this. Something like this. I don't know, something like what? G6 coming. So I have to go like there. G6, okay, here. The only idea is you can never, okay, let's say here, you can never set up something like that. Because if you do something like this, this is the only thing that you need to be careful about. If you set up something like this, you can see that king is kind of still mated, right? So black can go, black can play something like, okay, what's wrong with that pawn? Black can play something like rook c5, as you can see. And now if king goes somewhere, rook goes there. Here, rook goes there. This is kind of, you know, I'm not even sure what is it called in English. In Polish, direct translation is like crazy rook, right? And of course, if king captures rook, we've got a stalemate. So this is the only idea that you have to be careful about when you're playing rook and 2 pawns on the side, right? Against the rook. This is the reason why this is just much easier way for white to win. And now white can even go something like, you know, something like rook a6, right? Okay, black has to wait here. Okay, actually after the move there is rook c6. Okay, so let's say rook g6 or something. yeah, just bring rook there, and this is also very easy win. Just need to be careful and don't steal mate and rook f8, and this is also win, right? So this is something that you have to remember about. Anyway, okay, I think that was pretty interesting game, and now white is winning, as you can see. That was pretty interesting game. Thank you very much for watching. The next stream is gonna be on Friday, and I'm gonna most probably play like 2 games with the analyzers. I will try to, and I just wanna also invite you to, as usual, if you wanna be informed about my streams, you can hear and you can get a free book and sign up for my newsletter, and I will keep you informed, right? Like this week, for example, I had got a stream about how to play exchange French for black, so you can also find it on my YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you on Friday. Bye.